She's ready.
Let me draft something.
We good?
I'll take my draft.
Everybody? Okay. Welcome to February's Recreation Committee meeting. All committee members and staff are present. And without objection, I would like to call this meeting to order and to acknowledge that the press and the public have been duly notified of the meeting in accordance with the Freedom of Information Act. First line of business is the approval of the previous meeting's minutes.
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion or changes?
No.
Hearing none. Do we have a vote? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Next item, citizens' comments. Do we have any? Being none, we'll move on to Director Page for her report.
Hey, y'all. You should have a report in front of you. There isn't a lot different than last month. I'll just get closer. I can talk louder. In our action class, just want to point out a couple of things. Our 10 ways to survive the end of the world action class, we didn't have enough to sign up, so we've postponed that. But we have 8 registered for the next one. So maybe we did a little bit too soon after the holidays. So because those classes typically are full and do quite well. The other thing, we added an evening meditation class, which is a big hit and going well. Our pickleball lessons, we've got a lot of interest in those. We do have a new instructor now. Our previous instructor has taken a position working in another agency. And that's such a growing sport here. We have a lot of people calling and signing up for that. So we see much success there. Our new classes that we started in January, the Tabata Tuesday night exercise class is going well, very popular. And then our beach boot camp hasn't gone as well because the weather hasn't cooperated. So we've postponed that. We're going to start that back in March. Hopefully the weather will cooperate with us. Our rec track update, hopefully we will go live today. I sent the city administrator kind of a little blurb of how that's going to work. It's relatively easy. On the recreation home site, we will have a button that will say online registration. You'll push that button, and if you participate in the recreation programs at all, that will take you to a page where you can establish a username and a password. And then we will send you your household number, which you established when you first registered at the rec center to participate in anything. After that, you have at it. When you click on a link, it'll take you to all the offerings under youth sports, adult sports, programs, etc. So it's going to be really user friendly. It's set up it's going to be set up very similar to the City of Charleston and Town of Mount Pleasant. If you look at their website, it's pretty much the same thing. So it's going to be real easy and real convenient for us and our users. Just to review special events, we had teenagers last Wednesday. We had over 40 seniors there. We had a blast. Our doggy day is this Saturday. Councilman Ward, want to see you there to get your dogs vaccinated. And of course, we'll be have chipping available for dogs. From Beach Fest is in March. We're working on that. Our yard sale, our Easter Bunny brunch and music in the park. We're both feet in all those right now, trying to get those organized and get the information out. Athletics, most of our adult athletics, the registration ends February the 11th. So we'll be beginning those games the 1st of March. And our youth athletics, we're winding down basketball and we'll be doing some tournaments in that. And then we started registration for baseball. And I have the numbers there. I think there's some idea that we're overtaken by non-residents, which we are not. You can see the numbers of residents versus non-residents. And please keep in mind that the non-residents include Sullivan's Island. And then, I wanted to let you know that our Pavers sidewalk has been completed. It looks awesome. And we'll be putting together, I'll get with the city administrator to come up with a plan to have those bricks engraved and how much we'll charge for each one. But oftentimes we have folks that want to donate to the recreation center and have their name somewhere. And this was just a great way of having people to be able to donate to the recreation center and actually put their names or their families or their loved ones' name on this paver brick. So they're really nice brick. It isn't your normal brick. Not that the ones at Front Beach aren't nice, because they are, but this is a little bit different, more decorative brick. So if you have any questions, I'll try to answer them. I do have the February calendar attached to the report. So if you have any questions, I'll try to answer them.
Are you getting close to deciding on a price for the pavers?
We haven't.
We haven't yet.
The reason I ask is I was talking to somebody from the VFW
Uh-huh.
last week, and they're gonna be redoing the front of the post where it floods so badly, and they're gonna put the pavers in, and they're gonna charge $150.
Okay. I haven't really decided. I wanted to see what the going rate was
Yeah, well,
and generate some revenues and hopefully I was going to get with the city administrator and our treasurer to see if we could work that program out of our building fund so we could add to that fund.
I just thought I'd pass that along to you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I think people would be willing to pay to put their name on a paver in front of the rec.
Well, I got all my animals for like the past 20 years on the front beach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we
Was
can
it
do
hard?
the rec too.
There was only $35
Oh, for
back
Front Beach?
then.
It's $30 now for the bricks at Front Beach. It costs about 25 to engrave,
I was wondering that.
so it's just $5, kind of cover some of the
Yeah.
administrative costs.
I thought we'd use it as a tool to generate some revenues for our building fund.
Great. Thanks for the report. And
Absolutely.
all of this is on the web that the residents can check out.
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. Any questions? Okay, moving on. There's no old business, so we'll move on to new business. Discussion of the fiscal year 23 proposed 10-year capital projects budget for the rec department. And I guess I'll look to Desiree
Well,
or Norma
I'm
Jean.
gonna let the director present her departmental request to the committee. We've already gone through it. It has my signed off, and we'll present it to you all and see what you think.
Okay, I'm taking, this is the first page of it. Every year we put a little bit of money aside for playground equipment and school boards that may go bad. And we'll only use those funds with failure, and that's 15,000. We need to replace our Toro groomer. This is the piece of equipment that we use to drag the ball fields. We also use it to carry stuff around when we line the ball fields, and it's a real important part of our fleet. We need to replace some water fountains. We had one to fail and we flooded the rec center again, but we were able to get it dried up and have the floor replaced down. We didn't have to replace any flooring. So we want to replace that water fountain along with the other one inside the rec center that does not have the bottle filler. We closed those fountains when COVID came along because of everybody touching it. But with the bottle fillers, just like the one out here in the hallway, they can just put their bottles under and refill those. We also put amount of money in to replace HVAC just in case of failure. We still have a couple of units in that building that are original to the expansion. So we can anticipate failure at some point. And then our Z-Track mower, we need to replace that as well. Our mower is used almost daily during the season. So we need to replace that. Our Christmas tree at Front Beach, I don't know if you noticed it, but I thought it looked pretty shoddy this past year. The framing is rusting terribly, so we need to replace that. And I think we discussed maybe that could come out of accommodations tax money since it's used strictly for the Front Beach and the Holiday Street Festival.
How old is that, or how
It's
long
either
of a
4 or
life-
5 years.
So 4 or 5 year
That's-
life. lifespan?
Yes, sir.
So we can look at that okay.
Yes, sir. That's about the same as the first one we ordered. I think it lasted 4 years. But the framing gets so rusted. I don't think they make them as good as they once did. But this one, we just couldn't get it to look as good as we should this past year. So we fluffed it and we fluffed it, but it still
So
didn't.
much bluffing. you can
So
do.
much fluffing you
I
can do.
don't think they pay attention to the salt air.
I think the salt air is rough on it. We would like to go to LED lights in the Magnolia Palmetto room, also the gymnasium. I had this in the budget for last year, but I deferred it because I didn't think it was something that we needed right away, but we are replacing a lot of ballast. And what I want to do is take the ballast out and just bypass ballast and just have outlets and put LED lights and all those. I think we'll save a lot of money, not only with replacing ballast, but also with LED versus
Right.
regular lighting. So we have that in the budget. We haven't been able to get the generator on a platform and get it hooked up. It's just been a busy year for us. So we put that back in this year, hoping to get that done. And due to our tractor failing, we use that money for the tractor.
And just as a reminder, that generator was the one that we had in the public safety building that was replaced as part of the rehabilitation project there. So we're reusing that generator in the rec center.
Excellent.
It's not a new one.
Yeah, it was started up not long ago, so it's running fine. We just got to get it on platform. The connections there. There's just something inside that has to be tweaked to, I don't know, to complement our building. So I don't think it's going to be a huge expense. I don't think it's going to cost us much to get it going. So, but we just really don't know. Now for something that a big ticket item. We have our outside basketball courts are in bad shape. They are used all the time. They hold water, need to be totally redone. And in order to redo them, I'd like to turn them around as well so that they're facing the same direction as the tennis courts because of the sun. I think it's north-south. And have an estimate cost from an individual that does this work at $150,000 to totally redo those, elevate them a little bit, grade them so that they do not hold water. If we don't replace them, we will have to have them repaired. Repair is going to be close to $50,000 to fix the cracks and so it's resurface them, right? The next item is we have a concrete pad between the baseball field and the softball field on 27th Avenue. I think at one time it probably was a basketball court or maybe it was a tennis court. I'm not sure. It hasn't been used, but I had this bright idea of taking that pad and turning it into 2 pickleball courts. And I just estimate that cost at $75,000. I think that's a little high, but I'm not sure what it's going to take. I'm hoping we could use the existing concrete and just expand it a bit, put a little bit of fencing around it so that we can have ball games at the same time people can play pickleball. Pickleball is a big deal now. And I did line the tennis courts for pickleball as well as tennis, but tennis players and pickleball people don't get along that well. But they're managing to do that. So I put that in for this year.
Can I make a request for that?
Absolutely.
If we do end up doing that, when we resurface the tennis courts, can we get rid of at least 1 court of pickleball lines?
Sure.
That would be much appreciated for the tennis players.
See, I told you.
It's really distracting.
If we install 2 pickleball courts, do we even have to have them at the tennis court? That way you can just separate.
We will not. But what we will need to do is wait until we resurface the tennis courts
Yeah.
again, which probably will be 2 or 3 years.
I saw that in here, not
Mhm.
too far.
It's
down
not
the
too
road,
far.
So, yeah.
So we'll resurface those and we just won't put those lines back down.
So just clear in my mind, the 75,000 includes whatever renovation, relocation, whatever with the concrete pad. Pulling up any if we need to, but also building the pickleball court itself as well.
That's correct.
So it's all in.
It's all in.
Okay,
That would be fencing, everything.
okay.
And the way it's located, one side will not require fencing because we can use what's there for the softball field. So we'll try to utilize what we already have.
And the size of it is like the size for 2 courts? I mean, or will we need to add concrete?
We'll need to add some. It's not quite big enough, but our existing slab is 50 by 75. And each court, they recommend 34 by 64. But I think it would be fruitless just to build 1 court. I think it would cause more problems than good. So I thought we should probably go ahead and bite the bullet and do 2. And then last but not least, the flooring in the Tadpole mental rooms. That's where our children are mostly in our games and meetings, is in bad shape. That's VCT tile, but that was original to the facility. We also have summer camp in those rooms and it's very worn out. So we'd like to replace that. And then there's the building maintenance fund that I think is, every department has that put in their budget. So,
That is, yeah, that's an ongoing initiative. We've, I
Right.
guess, three years now where we're budgeting 1% of the insured value of every city building and asset to help us continue to be proactive with building maintenance. And in the first year or two, we didn't think we needed, I mean, we already had a lot of the maintenance work for the recreation department built into our operational budget. But with the age of the building and just ongoing maintenance needs, we felt
Right.
like it was necessary to include that for the recreation department as well, and certainly being used pretty aggressively by our assistant public works director and certainly for the staff.
Mhm.
So we certainly want to continue that initiative moving forward.
I will say that we are seeing more maintenance issues because the building is old. I think it's 16 years or so. So we are seeing some wear and tear, but it's holding up nicely.
Playground's holding up good.
The what?
The playground.
Yes. We have some things that need to be replaced and repaired, and we're waiting for those. We ordered that in July. They told it to be November. Now it's going to be March. So, yeah, that's all we can do.
Wonderful.
I have a question. I was wondering if you'd ever thought about upgrading the electrical system in the Magnolia and Palmetto rooms to either 50 or preferably 100 amps in case that you might have a need for it. It's
Right.
right now it's at 20 amps.
Right.
Like if somebody came in with lights or
Mm-hmm.
heavy sound system or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
then it would accommodate it.
We can certainly look into it. I have not priced that out, but I can look at it.
Yeah. 'Cause I think that would be good to fully utilize that room,
Okay.
those rooms.
Any other questions?
Just a statement. If the budget goes like it has, like last year, we should be making up our minds if we want some additions or deletions or changes by the March meeting. We need to kind of put a deadline on ourselves, just to give you a heads up. That's the way it works, so we don't fall behind the other departments.
I
Yeah,
will.
We will be working on the operational budget in the next 2 weeks internally at the staff level, and we'll be presenting that to you all next month. And just like Councilmember Ward said, if there's any additions that you want to consider, you want the committee to consider, please let us know. You can reach out to us ahead of time and we can do some homework around it. For the recreation department, we really just have 2 additional projects that were not included in our original 10-year capital plan, which is the pickleball court and then resurfacing and reconfiguring the basketball courts. Everything else has been scheduled and sort of planned for in our 10-year capital plan.
I'd like to add one more, if possible, just looking at the amperage in the.
Yeah.
Palmetto
Okay.
room. Yeah.
We can look at.
I'll look in,
Yeah.
yes, of course.
And is there a benefit to doing those two big ticket items, the basketball and the pickleball at the same time? I mean, is that?
That would be the plan.
I'm
Right.
assuming that that's why we're doing them together, because we could have the same company. do them all,
Exactly,
and
exactly.
Do we know, like, if by chance we wanted to separate them, can you tell, like, how much more that would cost, or just as a rationale for spending that money, all at once?
Well, the estimates I've put here would be doing them separately.
Oh, okay.
I have developed an RFB or RFP, I'm not sure which one we should call it. I've already developed those and forward those to the city administrator for her review. Separately.
Okay.
But it would be nice if the same person could do it, and we would save money if the same person did both those projects.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did want to point out, it's not obvious on here, but we did defer quite a few items on this budget. And that got me in a little bit of trouble last year when we deferred the tractor again, and it did fail on us. But there are quite a few items that we did defer because I didn't think that we needed to purchase those this year, that we could at least get another year out of them. So
Any other questions? Do you need any action from us
No, sir.
at this point?
No, sir.
Okay. Miscellaneous business, our next meeting, 12:30, Monday, March 7th. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
Like motion.
I'll
Motion?
second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank y'all. Thanks, Norma Jean.
thank
Appreciate it.
you. Appreciate it.